Yeet. Keep. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining me for another modern quick match. Now nothing fancy here, just what the title says, and November is going to be packed with Death Shadow matches to hold you over until the next deep dive analysis comes out. Then it'll be a month for another deck. I'll start off with a quick deck tech, which is the same one from the last modern matchup analysis video. So if you've already seen it, or you just want to get right to the gameplay, I have included a timestamp in the description below. Please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon, as it's a free way to support the channel. Based on metagame data, this is what the typical Death Shadow build looks like in today's world. When seeing these cards, it's important to remember that the deck does not want the game to go long, and it wants to do everything as efficiently as possible in the first few turns. Low CMCs, hyper efficiency is the name of the game here. Let's start with the namesake card Death Shadow. This deck is all about using your life total as a resource in exchange for being able to play the most power per mana spent in the format. And Shadow is the epitome of this. 1 mana for a creature that starts small and grows as the game goes on. It's not uncommon for this to be a 1 mana 10/10 after a few turns. Usually we go over the mana base last, but this deck utilizes fetch lands and shocks more aggressively than any other deck in the format, and it's a large part of the strategy. The idea is to use whatever resource possible, including lands, to get our life total under 13 to land a Shadow. We're looking at 10 fetches and 5 shocks, with a couple of basics as a necessity against Pass and Field of Ruins. In many ways, this deck mirrors traditional Jund strategies. That is, a turn 1 discard spell to make the opponent stumble, followed by a turn 2 or 3 landed threat that grows with the game and will just be bigger than theirs, and then use hyper efficient answers the rest of the way. That turn 1 discard spell of choice here is Thoughtseize, as it helps grow the Shadow and is the best discard spell in the format. Add in a couple of Inquisitions, and hitting a turn 1 discard spell is fairly consistent. Street Wraiths, Mishra Baubles, and Thought Scours provide us with more consistency through cantripping, with the Wraith doing double duty at helping out our Shadow grow. Thought Scour also has an important function in filling our graveyard because the only other real threat in the deck outside of Death Shadow is Gurmag Angler. Big Zombie Fish is a remarkable case study in just how powerful the delve mechanic is. Note to Wizards, if you print an otherwise vanilla 5/5 at common and it sees play in one of the most powerful formats in all of Magic, it's probably a sign that the mechanic on it is way too strong. This big guy does a great Shadow impression, often only costing a single black mana by himself. The truth of Modern is that a 5/5 is often just bigger than anything else the format is doing, which is why Tasigur, the Golden Fang, who used to be included in the deck, doesn't even see play anymore at 1 less power and even 1 less card to delve. So, once our threat is landed, the game plan is to interact a lot. Stubborn Denial becomes one of the best counters in the format with a threat down. Hitting creatures isn't often relevant because our landed threat is usually bigger and badder than whatever they're doing in the first 4 turns of the game. There are exceptions of course, but this becomes one of the best cards in the deck when turned on. Fatal Push, Dismembers, and a Bolt are the best at what they do for a single mana. Dismember also helps our Shadow game plan, and with Snapcasters in the mix, the fact that this deck doesn't want to go much above 3 mana in play, 1 mana removal is where we want to be. Cullen's Command is a great catch-all against problematic cards like Ensnaring Bridge and otherwise obscene artifacts in the format, and can also get our threats back in our hand, which is important because we essentially only run 8 real threats. We round out the main board with the big finisher, Temur Battle Rage. I'd argue that this is the card most opponents of Shadow decks are most afraid of. It always has to be accounted for because it is often just a one-shot that will end the game on the spot, doubling damage and trampling over any small early game blockers. So, to the sideboard, Rejections fit in nicely, as we like 1 mana answers, and this hits a variety of problems in the format like Tron, Eldrazi, Ensnaring Bridges, etc. Our Braids provide more artifact answers as well as small creature removal. Spell Snare is just great in this meta, as pretty much every deck has some amount of important 2-drops. Alpine Moon, costing 1 mana, is a big deal, and it hits against Tron and Valakut decks, with also some fringe other uses. An extra K command is great against artifact decks. Lily of the Last Hope is fantastic at mowing down go-wide strategies, as chump blocking decks are actually fairly effective against us. Collective Brutality is just a burn all-star, and it's especially necessary since that matchup is one of the trickiest tightropes to walk in all of Modern. Disdainful Stroke is needed against big mana decks that are trying to do bigger and meaner things than us. Plague Engineer is one of my favorite cards from Modern Horizons, and I love that decks like this are utilizing it so much. It's a house against tribal strategies, and it's huge game against Thopter Foundry decks as well. Again, token decks can be very problematic for this deck. Finish it off with Seasoned Pyromancer. It's been getting some love as it gives us some extra game against control decks in particular. Alright, hello everyone. We are playing some Grixis Shadow, and this hand is great other than the fact that there's no threat. So, I think we have to keep it, unfortunately. There is enough interaction here that we can have a game. Our opponent does mulligan to 6. Ozzy Zeppelin. I'm guessing he might be a fan of heavy metal, at least classic rock. Castle Garenberg. So I think the only deck I know of in Modern that plays that is some kind of Scapeshift deck, and there's a threat. Okay. This is actually very good news. So I think what we need to do here is hold off for the time being on a Thoughtseize, as there's no real 2-drop that we're worried about. It's all bigger stuff, so we'll let them try to draw into it a few more times. Sakura, Tribe Scout, perfect. Now we can hit that. So this is Amulet Titan. This does make our Fatal Push useful. Watery Grave, and we will Fatal Push, just so it's not a completely dead card. Okay, now let's just check ourselves. If we can Thought Scour, it'll be 3 plus 3 more. So Delta to the Art 3, 3 more off the Thought Scour, and plus 1. That does get us there. So we're just going to get out our Zombie Fish, Blood Crypt, Thought Scour, get down the big old fish. Okay, now we're racing and hoping to just Thoughtseize forever. Radiant Fountain, gaining a little life. 3-drop Azusa. Ooh, maybe that would have been smart to go after. Okay. All right, well, the good news is now we can double Thoughtseize to get the big threat, and then they're just in top deck mode. I still think it was right, though, to go after the Angler, because even if we saw the Azusa in hand, it would have been a hard sell to take that over the real threats. So yeah, let's start with the Thoughtseize, Ancient Stirrings, and a Gruul Turf. So what does that mean for us? Let's just get in. What it means is we're at the mercy of the top deck now. We really need some kind of Stubborn Denial up, but sadly that is not the case. No top decks. No top decks. Gruul Turf. Okay, what did they draw? Bounces a land. Teleria Wests for a Summoner's Pact. Okay, that's actually good because they can't play it this turn. Okay, Street Wraith is nice. We will cycle that first. Mishra's Bauble is not entirely helpful. Let's go to combat. So we can actually, so I think the play here is to Snapcaster Thoughtseize, and if for some reason they have any shenanigans, we can double Thoughtseize. Okay. We will Thoughtseize our opponent. Take the Summoner's Pact. Field of the Dead in hand. So now I think we just bauble them and see what we can hit. Once Upon a Time. Okay, that's scary. So they're drawing Once Upon a Time here, but they can't play a Prime Time. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, or can they? Oh no, I think they can. Once Upon a Time gets a Prime Time. Oh no. Okay, Field of the Dead down. Oh, they can't play it. Field of the Dead enters tapped. Oh, I forgot. Okay. This is great then. And a Stubborn Denial. Okay, so we just need to fade. The only thing we need to actually fade now is Prime Time off the top. So go to combat. Get in. We will Thoughtseize away the Prime Time. Okay, just no Prime Time off the top. No Prime Time off the top. Land. Okay. Beautiful. And now Battle Rage will finish it up. Go to combat. So Battle Rage will go through 8. I like that. Good game, opponent. All right. So that was beautiful. Now we bring in the strokes for the big nasties. We bring in brutalities to go after Summoner's Pacts. Maybe that's a little loose, but it does also hit Azusa. We'll go down the pushes. We'll keep 1 and go down 2 baubles. Try like that. That was an impressive showing. This deck just lines up really well against Scapeshift and Titan decks. It just takes all the important pieces out pretty ruthlessly. Okay, game 2. And this hand is pretty good. We do need another land drop, but this has everything we want in terms of some discard, some removal, so we will keep it. And it is a fairly fast shadow here. Opponent mulligans to 6. Slayer Stronghold. Amulet. Okay, that is exactly what they need. So now let's see if we can work some magic. Okay, getting a land drop is great. Cycler Street Wraith. Another Death Shadow is very good. Okay, so I think we're going to wait on the Thoughtseize for next turn. See if we can dismember something here. Yeah, Simic Growth Chamber. Untapped. Returns the Stronghold. Or returns the chamber. Okay, Azusa down. That is worth dismembering. Okay, so with that on the stack, we'll get a Blood Crypt. And dismember Azusa. Ancient Stirrings. Okay, so the good news here is that they're down to 3 cards, or I guess 4 now. He gets a Growth Chamber. Okay, so 3 cards and one's that's a land that we know of. So we're going to start here by Thought Seizing. Hornet Queen and an EE. Well, they're a ways away from Hornet Queen. And we can counter it. Perfect. Disdainful Stroke is great for that. So we'll take the EE. Shock in a Watery Grave. Get a Shadow. Now that is a fast 6/6 even for Death Shadow standards. This is beautiful. Okay, so how nuts do we want to go here? We can... So I think the play is to just Thought Scour ourselves. Fatal Push is fine. Go to combat. Now the only thing is if they draw an EE, it's just a blowout and they can Teleria West for it. I think we just got to do it. I think we have to just go crazy here because now with the Street Wraith we can win next turn. We'll put them on exactly engineered explosives. Summoner's Pact. Okay. So is this just a desperation blocker like an Azusa? It is Azusa. Amulet. Yep. Ooh, can they actually get a Hornet Queen down this turn? I don't think so. That sounds insane. Okay. Well, we will do our thing. So the question is there anything that can prevent us from brutalitying Azusa, cycling Street Wraith, and just winning? I don't think so. So we will do that. We'll go 2 modes. Target creature gets -2/-2, and they reveal. We will discard a Fatal Push. So Hornet Queen and Simic Growth Chamber. I think we might have known that, actually. Go to combat. Cycle Street Wraith. And that is just a really nice win. Wow. Yeah, this deck is just really good against Scapeshift and Amulet Titan decks. Good games, opponent.